Welcome to the Cardboard Suitcase. I'm Christine.
And I'm Andrew, the metal
Yeah,
brother. And I have some notes and some tips from you. Some of them are from this right here.
a little dad action.
It's some
So
data.
wait, what are we talking about first, Andrew? What are we gonna
Well,
cover?
actually, I don't. That's not really clear right now, so we don't know. But we were gonna. Well, I'm gonna say we were gonna talk about psilocybin, like the mushroom stuff, the psychedelic drug. But well, we are, I guess, still somewhat. Christine said she read some stuff on that, but that goes into we were talking about like a company that we were investing in that had like psilocybin that they're developing like a synthetic version of it that they're trying to get approved. But that's kind of the gist of what we were talking about. But I got sideways a little bit because um, I started read. Well, I knew about this stuff before, so I had a whole thing I wrote up about all this about hallucinogenics and stuff because I think it's can be really helpful in the mental health field. So I did a whole bunch of research on it, and um, uh, the one of the co-founders from AA, like Alcoholics Anonymous, had been advocating for like LSD and like a hallucinogen, like been like that experience and all that. So I thought that was like so fascinating that that he was like actively doing that. So, anyways, but I got sidetracked with that. But that leads me to he had one of his friends was a guy who wrote a book on mescaline, which is like the from like the active ingredient from like peyote, like the cactus.
Okay.
His name was like Aldous Huxley, um, and he wrote a book called The Doors to Perception. Okay, The Doors to Perception, and a musical group was named after that. Like
The
what
Doors?
the Doors? Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
what he
gosh. So
Jim
wait, run this
Morrison.
by me again. This is the origin of the Doors.
The origin of the Doors is from Jim Morrison. I think he was UCLA. Uh, read William Blake, who's an author who wrote. I got a quote. It's pretty cool. It says, "Oh man, let me put my spectacles on." But listen, it's neat. He wrote. Uh, William Blake is a poet. He wrote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite." So That's where the title "Doors to Perception" came from, and then the music group, the Doors, Jimmy Morrison. Yeah, the Doors. So it's pretty
So was he
interesting.
like a client of his? Like, did they meet each other in real
No,
life?
I don't think so. No. Well, I don't know. I think it was just like I think it was all just about the whole I guess just the opening up of the world, and there's more than what we see basically, and he said like we're the doors in between, between different realities and stuff like that. So
Oh.
just kind of mimicking that. But that book, The Doors to Perception, was really interesting because this guy was just doing the shit out of some mescaline.
Oh my
He was
gosh.
just getting effed up. But talks about it, and it's crazy because he was just like hardcore tripping, but he talks about like the benefits of it and everything, and it is funny and all that. But that's the whole point of what I'm saying is the studies that they've done on this stuff have been fascinating, and they did so many in the 50s, and then they got shut down because of the war and the war on drugs and stuff, and it was like a political thing, and it just and these studies were showing like great results and everything, but because LSD had like a bad name, I don't think if you took a drug that makes you want to like love everybody, you're gonna want to go to war, and I think that was one of the problems. So
Oh,
I
so you
mean,
think it was a financial thing?
I think well no I think it was definitely a political thing because I think when you get a better perception, I mean think about it, you get a better perception of the world. What are you going to do? Are you going to get a lot more angry? you're gonna have more understanding, and you're gonna be like, wow, maybe we shouldn't be killing people. Maybe we should think about this a little bit more. So you're gonna be a little bit more reluctant and more open minded and stuff. And that's not great for, if you're gonna go kill some people for one person's agenda. Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
very true.
I have no opinions in the war. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, I don't think you would give people hallucinogenics, and at least as far as from results of studies and stuff of what they're doing now, of of what they're telling, people are saying after these studies of how they feel, how enlightened they feel, and all that. So,
Well, it's interesting that you should say that. The guy that I researched for this, he was it's Robin Carhart Harris, and he was saying one of the really great things that if um what's how do you
time
say
out.
it, psilocybin.
Time out. Okay, I was gonna say your screen was like blurry for a second, for a little
Oh,
bit. It's
okay.
okay now.
It's good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you no, I forget. Okay, so
Hard.
the yeah, Carhart Harris, he was saying one of the really great things if this gets well, when it gets legalized, he said, is that it will be really great for the environment because he's noticed that when after people do it, like regardless of the reason why they've done it, they have much more respect for the environment,
Yeah.
and they much more love for like trees and grass
Yeah.
and everything
Well,
around us.
yeah, that's funny that you say it because it is a good point, and that is something that they mentioned on their study. They said more people, yeah, they were like they, I mean, they were like recognized like nature, and they were more in
Hmm.
tune with like yeah, and they just appreciated it more. But it's a fascinating thing. I took there's a course that you can take that's I think it's free on Johns Hopkins that they tell you all about their research that they do on there, and it shows like what their rooms look like that they have people go into and all that, and all their like safety protocols, and they do some science stuff behind all the thinking. It's really neat. It's really informative, and they really emphasize like safety and all that, which is like a
Yeah.
really big thing because they're trying. I think the responsible people are trying to bring it along as like a responsible drug, and before it was brought along by like Timothy Leary in the '60s, and not saying it was good or bad, but he was just like F it. He's like this. Everybody should be doing this, and a part of yeah. Because I think he saw a lot of different stuff, and he was like, people can have their eyes open to a lot of things through
Right.
through this. Whether he's right or wrong, I don't know, especially with the war and everything. But that's just put it back. Like if you like because I actively ask people about that, and like when I asked mom and dad and stuff in the initial time, it's like I kind of paid attention to the very first questions that people ask.
Right.
So they asked about like the safety. They asked about like hallucinations, things like that. Because I talked to dad about stuff, and yeah, about like the effectiveness they had with helping people quit smoking cigarettes and everything. And to be honest, he was really impressed with that. Which our dad is a addictions counselor, by the way. But yeah, it was funny because I was really ready to go at him with like all these facts and stuff, but he was like, "Oh," he's like, "What?" Because I said psilocybin first, and he didn't. He was like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "Psilocybin,
Right.
like psilocybin." He was like, "Oh." But his opinion, it was funny because he had an opinion. He didn't know what it was. He thought it was like fill in the blank pharmaceutical, and then he found out it was psilocybin, and his opinion changed. I think probably a little bit more negatively because he was just like, oh. So yeah, that I mean that's a perfect example of people from that era that grew up in that in that time period of having that negative connotation with like hallucinogens and LSD and psilocybin and mushrooms and all that stuff. So,
Well,
I'm saying it has
interest.
a bad name. They had, I think they had ads that they said LSD caused chromosomal damage to fetuses. The government ran
Oh
ads, and that's not true because
no,
that's what people say. Because
it's not.
yeah, there's been so many times because I'm just so curious about people's opinions on it and just seeing where they're at, and it is some of the people's opinions are pretty surprising, but I think a lot of people are scared of it. They're
Yeah.
scared because they see it as so dangerous, it's so like drastic, and it's like it can like oh it can like make you jump off buildings stuff. So, but yeah, we can talk about safety and stuff. That the test of the results that it just came in this February with the company,
Oh.
which you know they were fantastic. So, I'm just excited on levels as far as like I think it's something that could be help people. I think it's something that could immediately help people and save people's lives because it's like yeah. What other medication can you give somebody who's suicidal? So the company that I was looking at is treating TRD, which is treatment resistant depression.
Okay.
That's the study that they did on. It was like the study is like COMP six or what was it 360 something like that. But yeah, so they did couple doses of psilocybin. So
So,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, so let me ask you something. So, if you go back to the drug itself, what's the difference between the LSD and the psilocybin? Like, because when I was researching, the guy said that there's like some differences, but not like major
Yeah,
differences. But
yeah,
like, I mean, I didn't do that much research. I know you've done a lot more.
yeah.
And I'm just really fascinated actually by the fact of, like you said, the depression really is makes a huge difference. Everything that
Mhm.
they've seen so far, that's why he was so excited about it, because he said this
Yeah.
is really, I mean, a few treatments and it's long lasting. It's not like
Yeah.
it just like what I thought was cool is it like goes into your brain, and then after it goes into your brain it like separates things, like like makes things, and then it allows
Mhm.
like bad things to get out and like be explored. I just thought that was really
Yeah.
neat. Like, and then he does like this really special room that they have like music and scents
Mhm.
and like this Indian, I think it's Indian, I could be wrong on that one, but like some kind of designed thing, a mattress, and of course therapists and things of that nature, and people that aren't just like therapists, they're people that have
Mhm.
seen and done, from my
Yeah.
understanding, drugs. I mean, this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So they know
Yeah.
what to expect and they know how to get you like off of a
You're talking
bad
about
trip or
psilocybin,
something.
though. You're talking about
Yeah,
psilocybin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It just depends. It depends. It depends. In the setting I'm talking about is medical, and it's synthetic. So,
Okay.
so if it gets a, which is weird because so if the psilocybin has to get rescheduled from where it's at in order to be the specific drug has to be approved, and then the FDA has to be like, okay, we can reschedule it now. So it first has to be approved first, though. So if it gets approved, it will not it will not legalize mushrooms or psilocybin in mushrooms, but it will just be for that specific drug, which I just found that out today. I was reading that, so that's very interesting. I don't agree. I don't agree with that at all. Yeah, I personally believe that. Yeah, come on, that's ridiculous.
So it will just be like for the pharmaceutical
For the pharmacy, that
man-made one,
yeah,
not for
for that one.
nature's.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as I'm just saying in general, I don't think it should be like so restricted like that. I mean, yeah, you got to do studies and due diligence and stuff, but come on, like I think the effectiveness is. I mean, this is let's fast forward in 5 years and get there. That's where I'm at
Yeah.
because it's something that the evidence is there, and it's yeah, it's going to be held up, and it's going to be held up with political stuff with either side of the fence, and that's what's bullshit about it. It's upsetting because that's what's going to happen because it's going to be caught up because people don't know, they're unsure, and they don't want to take a risk. Like there's no
Right.
innovation. There's no what's the what's the payoff for that?
Right.
But I think eventually it will get pushed through. I'm confident of that. I think it'll take a second though. So if you're asking like projection probability, you're talking maybe towards the end of 27 right now.
Okay. So do you think that when that gets, because this guy Carhart. Is that's his name, right? I forget now. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
Carhart.
know that guy. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. So I guess what he was saying was he thinks that the kind that is like nature's one is
Hmm.
going to get approved relatively soon because he said that um, in case studies for PTSD for
Yeah.
veterans, he said it's very big in the veteran uh, like
Yeah. Yeah.
world or
Yeah.
subculture or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
What did you find? I mean, is this also helpful for like veterans for PTSD, or is it
Yeah.
just for the
Well, okay.
drug?
Well, we didn't. The company I'm talking about it's called Compass Pathways. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the company that's developing this. So yeah, they're developing that drug. That was phase three. They just submitted that to the whatever, or they're getting ready to submit for the whatever the drug or whatever. So the PTSD, they have another study for PTSD with the same thing. They're pretty much the same, the psilocybin that they're doing, and then they're doing another smaller study with anorexia.
Oh,
So I think it shows a pretty pretty good link there that it's all you know it's yeah, it's like a fixable thing. I think when I was reading about it, they said that like the neuroplasticity, they're talking about
right.
that, about basically like your brain can kind of, if you like marshmallowed your brain, like kind of, so it made it more malleable, so you kind of form it
Mm-hmm.
around a little bit,
Right,
or they
right.
likened it to like lowering a drawbridge or whatever, like lowering the water in a river, so that you could get
Mm-hmm.
across the different areas and connect different areas. But it just kind of rewires it, lets other parts of your brain connect with other parts. So when they do like studies, there's parts of your brain like that connect that usually don't. So they lower that filter. There's a part in your brain that has a filter of everything and all your senses and stuff. So then that
Mm-hmm.
lowers that greatly. So that when that's lowered, all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, that's the grass is really green. You're like, wow, and other whatever other stuff, but but I yeah, that's the I'm trying to think the rate for there's like it's a MADRS depression scale, and it had like a 3.8 improvement or something like that, which is the standard. It's like two. So, and they didn't have any
Oh,
safety issues with it either. So I think it's one of those things. It's like, my question is now, why would it not go through? Like, what's the reasons for not? Why would people be saying no at this point? So that's the
well,
question it is. So that's my
now
question.
you said I
No.
was gonna say you said there's no safety issues, right?
Well,
Like that's what Carhart Harris said is that
mhm.
basically there's no like proven so far there's no risk for addiction,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
which is really unusual, I think, especially for those kind of medications, even though interestingly now he said it's in like the same area as like cocaine and such like
hmm,
that, except for it's, I mean, it's categorized, I guess, like according to him, in like the same area, which I
yeah,
thought was really interesting, because a lot of those types of things like are addictive, you
yeah.
know.
No,
And
it's
then
not.
he,
It's not.
what's that?
It's not. It can't be physically addictive because it's like builds up and it's yeah. You can't. So you don't get
Right.
that. You don't get. Yeah. You just don't get it. There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he said. And then he said the only thing that he really saw, like in the studies, and not just him, but that they have seen in was it mice or rats? I forget. But they had they brain tumor. I mean, brain something. I want to say it's a brain tumor, but it got bigger. That's the only thing
With
that they
with
saw.
no, I didn't see that. I didn't
Okay,
hear that at all. That's interesting
because
though.
yeah, that was the only thing he said, and that was in a few cases.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, and it wasn't on humans that they did that yet. Like,
Mm.
but other than that, though, he said it's just it's safe, especially if you do it as far as a controlled thing. The problem is it's not legalized in the United
Hmm.
States, I guess. So because it's not,
Well,
people are doing it illegally, and
well,
then
yeah,
they're
but
going and getting bad things. They
well,
aren't
okay,
necessarily
yeah,
pure.
but take that statement right there. But that's not true though, because what's happening to people? What are they doing? If people are taking too much mushrooms,
No, no, no.
what's
What I'm
happening?
saying, when I say bad things, like people are getting, like they don't know what they're getting.
Yeah, they might not know
You
what.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, so
if they're
as
taking
opposed
purely
to something as
psilocybin, yeah.
pure.
Well, that's the problem. You don't know if you're getting something on the street. The actual
Right, right.
psilocybin drug is you can't overdose. You have to eat like 37 pounds, more than 37 pounds of psilocybin to overdose on it. So can you eat 37 pounds of mushrooms?
I
God
don't
damn.
know. I've never
It's
even
so.
eaten one.
I mean, if you're looking at, and people don't want to hear these things, but LSD, like I'll include. Well, I mean, I when I was studying, I focused when I did research, focused on psilocybin because it was the safest, and I thought that's the most acceptable socially. I think that's the most has the most chance to get through because people are most accepting of that because it's like natural and like mushrooms,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. So that's kind of what I focused on as far as like safety and all that. But when they're looking at like LSD stuff, the newer studies and everything, and there's other companies that are developing one, they're developing LSD too for anxiety, I believe, actually.
Yeah.
So,
So tell me
so
about
yeah,
that
it's
though, the anxiety.
what's that?
What about this? What about the anxiety? Because I understand like the trauma and the depression,
Yeah.
like the
I don't know.
fact
I
that
didn't read
it's
about
like,
that.
yeah.
I didn't read. There's so
Oh,
much to
okay.
read about. I didn't read about that one. My focus was more because how I got to all this was I was looking at like change and all that and how people change, and that was what was so neat to me is people were going and getting these monumental changes after this, and it was like along the lines of near death experiences, things like
Okay.
that. So people had like a near death experience, and then like you know, 2 years later they ask them about their lives, and they're like, my life's changed. Like people, things don't, cars don't matter, house doesn't matter. Like these things, I know what's important. I know what's going to happen to me when I die, and there's just such a satisfaction, and there's just like that's what it is. It's crazy. But when you hear them talk and they're so sure of it. So either
Yeah.
so what is that? What are they seeing? Are they crazy? Are they say you release DMT in your I don't know when you die. It's like a thing, are you releasing something and it makes you kind of trip
Hmm.
so that's how the way your body comforts itself before you die? Or are you is it you're freaking conscious in all that? But anyways, I don't
So
know. Let
what do
me
you?
just what? Go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead. I'm
gonna
sorry.
say, it's interesting you should say that about like not the cars and stuff like that because that was what he said, that it was people, like I said in the beginning, people like do come back, and that is one of the main things that they come back with is that they also, depending on the dosage of it,
Hmm.
they tend to have like these out of body kind of experiences
Hmm.
that like lead them to believe that there is something that is out, like we just
There,
aren't the only things that are
yeah,
here,
the
like there's
people
other
that
things, whether
yeah,
that,
people
whatever
that
that
are
is.
atheists. That was
Yeah.
fascinating to me. Like people that are atheists, and like the percentage of people that were like, well, you know what? There's something. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Their whole life, and then all of a sudden they do something day, and then they think that they're so. At the end of the day, are they more satisfied with life? Because I think they might be.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not everybody, but I think it just is like a way to unlock some different parts of your brain and it should be utilized. I think it's like a mental antibiotic, man. I think that's what it is. I think so. There's a thing I call like the Dorothy Orthodox, which is basically like all your shit is inside you. The Dorothy, like they're like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you're right there. But that's what I think that's a lot of what it is. I mean, yeah, isn't that what therapy is? The therapist isn't giving you anything. You're just figuring shit out about yourself. So it's like it's inside you. A lot of times it is. So if you can unlock that in your brain and help your brain do that, if you have trauma and stuff like that, to be able to help you get over things, and because they're talking about depression, and when you have depression, there's like canalization, and so when people say that you're in a rut, and like physically, like scientifically, you're in a rut. Your brain is those pathways and all that are structured and all that. And it's
Hmm.
really hard to change. So
Yeah.
that's the whole thing with treatment resistant depression. People, yeah, they're so used to be on different medications and switching things and all that. So between that and PTSD, I think it's fascinating. I mean, geez, man, you got people suffering. Like, why?
Yeah. Well, did you? I mean, I've had like a lot of issues with depression and PTSD,
Yeah.
and um, I've been on a lot of different kinds of medication for it.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, like when after um my brain injury, my trauma issues like dissipated. It's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. Like it went
Mm-hmm.
away.
Yeah.
So I like you were saying, like the whole Dorothy thing is that um you have it in you. Like it's
Mm.
weird because now I can think about the trauma and it's very like I can think of it logically. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this happened. Like I like to say it's like a
Yeah.
newspaper heading. Um, and I've never done any of these I've never done any psychedelics, so I don't really know like what the results would have been if I would have done them.
Yeah.
But I will tell you right now that based on how good I feel, um, it will change your life. I mean, either you do a what is it, psychedelic, or you get hit on the head. I
Well,
mean,
let's
it's
just
one of
yeah,
the good
we
benefits
don't want
of it.
everybody out going and doing psychedelics here, people. That's not what we're advocating.
No,
I'm
no, no,
advocating
no.
right now, right this second. I'm advocating like legalization of medication that
Right,
can
right,
save people's
right.
lives, like just that initial push through of that and all that, and then the other stuff can come along. And I believe a lot of like, I think we should be free will and all that. And it's kind of a lot of the questions are like, what the hell? Why would like what's people what anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. But I think what happened with you, we talked about it before, I think it is a form of like shock therapy or something like that,
Yeah,
which was actually a terrible thing but ended up being a great thing because
right.
yeah, I think it kind of rebooted your brain, and I think that's kind of what it does. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's what.
really do. It I mean, I'm really curious to see how it develops and it comes along. But so let me ask you this: would you consider doing something like that? Like if you, well, in your, well, I don't, you probably not now, but like before, like if you were like in a state of depression, imagine like right now, if we were talking and I asked you if you would you consider it?
You're saying prior to
Yeah,
my accident.
yeah. Just say like in your one of your times where you're really depressed.
Yeah. I mean, have gone through a lot of really bad things, and I think that it would have made. I think like I said, like knowing what I know now, as far as the trauma and things, that has impacted me so much. Not having that weight of the trauma, and I think like I was really desperate. I mean, I was willing to try anything. And from what I've seen, it doesn't have negative side effects, which I know taking a lot of medications, like I've
I'm
taken a
listening.
lot of medications, the side effects are horrid. And like they go from everything from insomnia to weight gain to
Yeah.
just jitteriness, just and then they counteract the other medications, and just the fact that you have to pay money for all of these things, like, and
Yeah.
it's a lot to remember too. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like you have to take them at a certain time. If you don't have them, then so and some of them for they just sometimes, and they wear off. That's the other thing. Like after a while, like your body, I think,
Well,
becomes
it's not
immune to it.
changing your brain
Yeah.
chemistry, like your brain.
Right, right,
That's the
right.
thing. that's it. That's it's late letting your brain. And it's not like it just is like a miracle thing.
Right.
But with that medication, they were emphasizing that they didn't want the um, like a therapy as part of that because they didn't want therapy to be part of the beneficial effects. So there was a drug that the FDA did not approve that was MDMA, which is like
Mm-hmm.
Molly.
It's like
They did
ecstasy,
not
right?
what yeah like ecstasy, yeah.
Okay.
They did not approve that, and one of the things said that they said is like they were trying to distinguish like how much the therapy is making a difference because you need a therapist, you need somebody there to assist because these are like 6 to 8 hour sessions, so they're having like one or two of those. But then it's like that's it. The study's still new, so there's going to be more results come out to see the more lasting effects of it and all that. But I've seen I've seen a lot of people in my life that there's you can see the writing on the wall that something bad is going to happen and it's a train wreck and yeah, for whatever reason, if there's something that you kind of stop that for a second at least, but yeah, just to allow them to make other connections that they could if they were could think a little bit clearer, give them a little bit,
Right.
give them better tools to be able to adapt to that, man. So yeah,
I think
but
the idea that you can think clearer, I like that concept. Like that seems to be one of the benefits of this brain trauma. It's so funny, like to speak of it like as in it's been beneficial in a lot of ways. I mean, it's
yeah,
been very whacked in a lot of ways, but this is one thing that I have definitely noticed is that, like you said, the thinking is you can see things in different ways and your perception of things is completely different. I think when you're
hmm,
depressed or you have like severe PTSD, you get stuck, like you said, in a rut and you're just like going
yeah,
around in this circle and you cannot get out of it. And people are like, just wake up, smile, like it's not that hard.
hmm.
It's way
It
harder
isn't.
than that. I
It's
mean, and
not.
it's like,
Yeah, and I
you
mean,
know,
I
it has
think
nothing to do
people.
with,
Yeah, if you're saying that, then you're not educated, and I mean, get a book and read about it. It's not
right.
that. It's not you're being like lazy or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of factors in it. It's just not, and it's hard. It's not something you see on. It's the people don't wear it on their sleeve, So
Right.
let me read a thing that Wilson wrote here
And
about
this is the guy from the
Bill
AA
Will.
guy.
Bill Wilson is a co-founder of AA who I think that's I think that's how he quit drinking. I think he did some fucking the acid and then he quit drinking. I don't
So
know if
was
that's how
it
he lived.
Alcoholics Anonymous that made him quit? Like it was acid?
Well, it was a little it led to a little bit of a problem there later on because they got. I know I read about it a while ago. I didn't. I was just reading about it again because I was like, oh, this is interesting. Because he was doing it and like the board or whoever they were like they were like I don't know about that bill. But, well, let me read what he wrote. He wrote,
Okay.
it helped him eliminate many barriers erected by the self or ego that stand in the way of one's direct experiences of the cosmos and of God. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and that's what my thing is about the ego and stuff. You're trying to eliminate your ego, and I think that like fear and ego are things that constantly have to be held in check. So if you're eliminating your ego, like just tomorrow, eliminate your ego and everything you do, you're gonna have a different day than you would if you didn't.
Absolutely. Like, would
So,
you, if you were like, let's say you were suicidal, like, would
mhm.
you, and somebody recommended that you take that, would you be open to doing something like that? I mean, do you believe like, like that? Would you, well, first of all, would you be open to doing the natural thing, or would it be the one that is, like the man-made one,
Yeah,
the synthetic one? Like,
yeah.
are you, would you do either one,
No,
or
I
would you
would.
be,
I like if knowing what I know now about it and doing it in a setting like.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm at the point. Yeah, I'm at the point. Yeah, I would. I would. I mean, I wouldn't be like like telling people to go and do like whatever, but um, I just have a strong opinion on the fact that it's like the way it's categorized and all that. It's kind of ridiculous. It's just like the question, yeah, the question of why. Ask yourself why.
It's like, now, would you do, so you would do either the natural one or the synthetic one? Like that doesn't, you're not wary of,
Well,
isn't there like marijuana that's synthetic that's not good at all? Like, I don't know. I
well,
heard that.
the synthetic weed stuff is like that's not even weed. That's like stuff that's sprayed usually, like the Scooby Doo, the packs, and all that. Usually that's just like sprayed. So
I
that's
don't.
like just chemicals. That's not even weed. But
What does
no,
that even
I'm
mean,
talking.
Andrew?
What'd you
What
say?
does that what does that even mean? Like it's Scooby Doo, like I don't know, he's a guy, like
I
a
mean,
dog.
well, it. Let me let me let me say. Um.
Like explain it like to somebody who doesn't
All
understand,
right.
like because I don't like that
Let me
doesn't
just say,
mean anything,
we're going to talk in hypotheticals here. Let's just say hypothetically, I had to search somewhere for drugs. Okay.
right?
Hypothetically, there was a lot of drugs, and I found hypothetically packs like seal packs. Like you ever see like astronaut ice cream? That's what they look
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
It has like about this big, and it has like a picture like Scooby Doo, and then you tear it off. It's like it looks like kind of tobacco or weed, whatever in there. That's what it looks like.
Oh,
But yeah, I guess it's not actually weed. From what I read, it was just like it's just like whatever like tea leaves or whatever, but then they're just sprayed with the fill in the blank, and that's what the problem is. You don't know what that is at all, and people are ordering now on the internet.
well, yeah, I mean, we know somebody who did that, and that was like, I didn't know what it was. Like, I just thought it was something that, I
Yeah,
don't know, people did in
it's
their,
not weed. It's
like,
like
did it like in their basement or something. They made some imaginary leaves or something. I didn't know it was just like something that was sprayed with some kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Listen, people, there's different categories of drugs, okay, man? Like weed is not the same as crack. Like, come on, man. Like heroin is not the same as like psilocybin. Like, come on. There's very big differences here of like the addictions and everything. Let's not lump them all together. We don't put Tylenol and like, opiate together. Well, we do kind of, but I'm saying they're not the same thing. They're very, very, very different. They have very different purposes.
Right, right.
So, let's look at the facts. But if you're looking at psilocybin compared to the safety of like alcohol, like which who do you think wins that?
Yeah, I mean,
I
so
mean,
here's a question: do you think that it's going to become like marijuana, like because that's
no,
like
I don't.
legalized now?
No, I don't
You don't
because
think it's
I
going to be
don't
like
think
that?
people are gonna just be like, oh, I'm gonna go and do mushrooms like every day. No, I think it's like it's gonna be like a maintenance thing, and like, okay, I feel okay, now maybe my grandfather died, and I had issues with him. Maybe I'll go have a session, and then to help me get over that, like in a therapeutic session or something like that.
Right.
Maybe you get to like a midlife crisis. Maybe it's used more like as a maintenance thing like that to keep you healthy and all that when you have a problem. But I think it's to me it's kind of like that. It shifts that, and then when you see people talking after this, and I am for the most part talking about hallucinogenics in general. So we're talking about like LSD, well, psilocybin, LSD, like what's it, ibogaine, I think. Um, yeah, there's peyote. Um, yeah,
What's the
the
A word? Asawas, I
ayahuasca. Oh man,
yeah.
San Pedro cacti. Those are crazy, man. People talk about those, and I would love to talk to somebody. I would love somebody to talk to us about that experience because um, yeah, I think that's fascinating. It's really interesting that people can get in touch, and that changes their lives. Like, well, a couple hours
Yeah.
changes your views on some things, and not for the bad. It's not like these people are getting violent afterwards. These people are talking about like there should be more like love in the world, and we're all together.
Mhm.
That's
I really think that's interesting. Yeah,
I
and
know.
they just appreciate everything like when I say simple things, like things that aren't um uh like man-made, kind of like nature, like flowers and the
Hmm.
color and
Yeah.
food. They even said like
Yeah.
tastes better because
Hmm.
you actually are appreciating, like, I guess, the levels of flavor because you're much more cognizant of these things, which I think as kids that we're very
Yeah.
cognizant of everything. This is why everything is so new and it's
Yeah.
awesome. Then we become adults and like these
Yeah.
things like start pounding on us
Well, that's
and
what
we
they,
forget.
yeah, that's what they say too. With that, it does kind of bring you back to your childhood and observations and playing and things like
Yeah.
that, and like the fun of that, and exploring, like to be in
Mm-hmm.
the woods, to be around nature, and just a connectedness. They keep saying about being connected and
Yeah.
all that.
That,
That connection is the connection that we are all together in a big ball of, that we're all together. So like when you yell at your neighbor, you're still yelling at yourself. When
right.
when you chop down a tree, you're still hurting yourself. So don't do bad stuff. That's all. It's easy. No, I
There you
mean,
go.
you're hurt. Like, it's true though, because when you do something that's negative, like, it doesn't, yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't help you. It might temporarily, but at the end of the day, at the end of the unit, in my system, because death is just part of it's part of your passing. It's part of the whole procedure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
by the way, they're second guessing this whole Big Bang theory bullshit. I just listened about that. Not the sidebar you, but they're talking about it like an infinite and then an infinite and then an infinite, and then we're just like, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop. So anyway, I don't know.
You're talking about like we're like in a loop that's in a loop
Uh,
that's in a loop.
Yeah, kind of, but they're saying, well, because we always learned that there was a Big Bang thing. Well, it was either God created this or there was a Big Bang, and I'm like, which one is it? I don't know. But now there's another alternative apparently.
Well, it's interesting because like I think I hear all these different, things after being alive for such a long time. You hear a lot of different theories, and I think what's really interesting to think about this is whenever you look at like things like the, how do you say this, psilocybin, and
Hmm.
then the impact that it has on your brain and the fact that your brain goes to somewhere else and like you find another dimension or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it, like that's fascinating to me. Like
yeah,
I don't I
no,
just like the
it
whole
is.
idea that this is not just like, and everybody, it seems, I mean, depending on the dosage, they said,
Yeah,
but I guess everybody basically experiences some level. I mean, everybody, as in, if you take the right dosage, experiences some level of this like other dimension,
yeah,
whether it's, whatever it is, which even the scientist, the dude that was, Carthart Harris, dude, he's like a scientist, and he was like, I don't even like, I'm a scientist, but when it was, I guess he was taking it, and he was like, he like literally saw this other thing, and then like he was like, he comes back and he was
yeah.
like, I know I was in somewhere else. He says, but as a scientist, I have to like stand back and look, was that just a moment or was that
Yeah,
reality?
it's. I mean, it just lit. I mean, I've been fascinated since third grade. Okay, I went to a thing. It was a do not do. It was a like I think it was a Nancy Reagan thing. A just say no to drugs, and they were talking about some LSD. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I definitely want to do some LSD because Nancy Reagan saying just say no. And those kids look like they had a lot of fun. They're seeing shit. Like, what's going on? Yeah, it was like an advertisement for me. So they messed their they did not do a good job on that. They were like starting kids out on like hallucinogens.
Well,
But
they said actually that was one of the negative things, like
it just
that
it
it was
I
just
mean, I
opened
was
up
just a very
something.
curious person. So I was just
Yeah.
like that so since that at that point it was fascinating to me. So I've always read up on stuff and I've always thought it was just such a neat thing. So at the bare minimum it's taking you to it's allowing you to have different senses. You know,
Right.
and that is the yeah, like the lowering of the drawbridge. So now you can hear you might you hear things like in a separation, something like that. Sometimes like what's the word for when you can like see music? What's that word? Whatever that is. Sometimes that like the crosses of the senses, things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
But they did say the higher the people report it of their of their experience, that the more like satisfaction or the more like good effects they got from it. You know.
Hmm.
So, and even the bad, they did say about like bad experiences. They said the bad experiences, the people were actually saying that they were more grateful for them and they were more effective because that they had like gotten over more whatever issues or whatever through it. So,
Yeah, it's funny you should say about like when you were a kid. I do remember the DARE program. And I was on the student council with the DARE.
oh, I got a story for
Yeah,
that. I'll tell you.
that was so that was it's interesting because you said you were curious. Like I was terrified of it.
Yeah.
Like mom and dad made us watch this movie. I don't know if you remember it. All I remember was seeing this dude and he like joined a cult because he did LSD or
Mm.
angel dust. Is LSD and angel dust, are they the same thing?
They're
I don't
two
know.
different. Those are two different things.
Oh, well, are they in the same category?
Uh, L, L, uh, Angel dust is, I think, considered a hallucinogen. Angel dust would not recommend doing angel dust.
Well, okay,
Did
so this no angel dust, people, but it
you ever
was
see Friday?
I just saying.
Uh, I think
So but
they okay. Go ahead.
oh no, so I just remember the dude. He was like I said, this was like he joined this cult and he was like all excited because nobody wanted him and then he joins this and everybody accepts him and then they had him do an initiation thing so he goes and he was all high I guess and goes and presses a button to get on the elevator. He gets on the elevator. It's not the elevator, it's the shaft. Like that's it, no elevator, and he died. Like it went and then that was
Yeah,
the end of the movie.
yeah.
So they showed us this to like terrify us, and then they did. And then even as I got older, there was a dude when I was a waitress, like, and this guy, he used to sit at our counter all the time. Like it was like this 24-hour restaurant, and he would sit there and he was constantly high, like,
Yeah,
or I don't know, he was high or out in left field. But
yeah,
rumor has it he did angel dust and never came back to reality. And I thought,
yeah.
my life is pretty
Hallucinogenic
messed up, but
syndrome.
I really want to come back to reality.
Yeah, yeah. That's a thing. There's hallucinogenic syndrome or something like that. Yeah, it's a thing. So they screen when they screen people, they people that have like bipolar and schizophrenia or something that they eliminate. So what people have like hereditary for that. It's something that they do eliminate. But I think ironically, I think there's going to be studying that stuff with other drugs. Those
So
very
that's what the
things.
angel dust is. That what you're saying, or like,
No,
can it
angel.
happen with other
I can't. I don't
hallucinogenics
know if angel dust
or
is considered.
psychedelics?
I don't know what angel dust is considered like technically. I don't know. But angel dust is not. No, that's not LSD.
See, I always grouped everything all together because, like, mom and
Yeah.
dad were like, all these drugs, they make you see things, and then you see all of these things, and then made us watch that Scared Straight thing where the kids went to jail or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, they terrified us. Like, it's funny because you were like, oh, this is interesting. I was like, oh my God, like, this is the worst thing in the world. But the thing is, then you're not questioning anything. And I think as a kid, you should question things and you should be curious. I'm not saying you should do drugs. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I, I don't think scaring people is the correct way to actually get them. If I think it's better if you understand what's going on rather than
Yeah.
scaring them, saying
Yeah.
this is a bad thing.
Well, yeah. The scared. You know about the scared straight story.
No, but
This.
move closer because Andrew, it's hard to hear you sometimes. Gotta move your thing closer. There you go. Okay, you're gonna move
Yeah.
closer. Tell us the story now. Scared straight. No,
Scared
tell us.
straight. So
Yeah. I never
So
heard this.
Scared Straight. So um, one time I was with a group of people, and we went into a room, and there was convicts.
What? Wait. What is this? You went into a room and there was like randomly you're going into
I went
rooms with
into a
convicts?
room, and there was convicts. It was about eight. Okay, went into a room. I was I was about 18, and I went into a room, and there's about eight convicts in there, sitting in there, and they were like, "Hey, like everybody, like sit down." So I was like with other kids, and all the other kids with me were younger because they were juveniles. I was 18 or I was 17. I was below 18. So we went in there, we sat down. I sat down by this one guy, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "What's up?" He's like, "You want a piece of candy?" And I was like, "No," I was like, "I'm good, thank you." And there was this dude beside me. His name was, well, I'm not gonna say his name. It's been
It
quite a
was
while.
it
It's been
was
quite.
it was what? Who was
We'll,
that? Charlie
we'll
Brown.
call him Peter. We'll call him Peter. So Peter had like one of the starter jackets. Remember the starter jackets people would wear, like that real fluffy, like the real big starter jackets people wore in Beaver Falls.
Like the down jackets?
Yeah, whatever. Um, so anyway, he was wearing one of those, and he was like sitting beside me. So I kind of knew him from a couple of days. He's just, he's an alright kid, but he's a little bit younger. He might have been like 15. So the dude, he was like, "Hey, He asked Pete if he wanted a piece of candy, and Pete, yeah, thank you. So he gave him candy. So they start out, and they're like, "All right," like everybody introduces themselves, and so the guy beside me, he was like, "All right," he's like, "I just gave you." He looks at Pete. He goes, "I just gave you that piece of candy." He's like, "What are you gonna give me back for it?" And the kid's like, "What do you?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just gave you something," and he's like, "Now you owe me something."
Oh my gosh.
And the kid's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "That's the way it works around here." So he goes, and the kid's like, "Okay." He's like, "What are you gonna?" He's like, "What are you gonna give me?" And the kid's like, "He's like, I'm not gonna give you anything." And he's just like, he's like, so the four of the guys got up, and then they ripped his jacket off him.
What?
They ripped his jacket off him like a little bitch, and
Oh
they
my
were like.
gosh.
And then the main guy was like, he called him off. He was like, "Okay, guys," he's like, "That's enough." So they put him down and gave him his jacket, pat on the back, and then they looked at us. They're like, "That's how easy they take your shit in prison." And I was like, "Okay, message received." I mean, shit. Message received for me. I mean,
That seems pretty scary. I
I
mean,
didn't
I
take
don't
the
know.
candy. I'm pretty glad I didn't take the candy.
Yeah, that
Now,
seems
don't take
really
candy
scary.
when you go to jail or prison. Do not take candy, okay, guys? And that's what I learned.
Just
But
don't go to prison or jail.
no, it was no. They were cool. It was the scared straight. I don't know if it was the scared, but that's what they were replicating or trying to. But no, they were all had been in prison. They were all getting out of prison. They were like in a halfway thing. Um, so they were just talking to people and telling people to get their stuff together. But it was wild. The last guy that talked, he was a heroin addict, and he was like, "This is what heroin did to me," and he took his leg off.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, he's like, "Yeah, get your shit together." But effectiveness, it's not. Scared Straight's not effective. It's just like juvenile boot camp, things like that. Like if you're talking about what's effective, it's not effective. I think it's feel good stuff, and it makes people like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna be scared and everything," but long term effectiveness, it's not proven to be really that great.
Really?
So
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So, what do you think would be effective? Like, I mean, we know a couple of people, and what do you think would be effective for these people? I mean, there's a younger person and there is an older person, but the younger person, is there anything that you think that might be effective for this person? Because they seem like they're on like a path that's not
For what?
it's not very good. Like, if you're making unhealthy choices and you are continuing down this path as a younger person, and let's say you go to this scared straight thing. I don't even know if they do
Yeah.
this anymore, right? And you said you didn't think it was effective. What do you think would have been
I'm not
effective,
saying I
and
don't think
how
it's
can people
effective.
use
I'm
it?
saying studies show it's not as effective. It's not. Yeah, it's the same thing with like like basically fear based. It's just like anything, like
So
psychology applies.
fear-based things,
Fear
you're saying it
fear
is not
based
effective.
behavior modification isn't as effective as like a positive reinforce. So positive reinforcement, yeah. Then it's not a lot harder. People don't want to hear that because it's they
Hmm.
think people are being coddled or whatever. But it's a lot harder to do. It takes a lot more effort, a lot more time, a lot more love and shit. And who wants to do that?
Well, what would that look like? Like what do you think would work for that kind of a thing?
Well, so I don't know. All my dealings with kids when I was younger is I
Yeah,
saw
wait, but
kids.
well, excuse me, but by the way, tell people like what you did.
What did I do?
Like
Jeez.
you went to college for this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
You're like, what did
okay.
I
I have a
do?
degree. I have a degree in criminal justice. Well, I have a pretty short pass, so. No, I went to school for
I
criminal
have a pretty
justice,
short
but
past.
minor in psych, but I never used it. Yeah, I never got a job with it. That's just whatever.
But did you intern somewhere though, right?
I
Didn't you say
did.
you
I did.
interned?
Yeah, I did. I interned. I worked with kids I did my whatever paper on the main thing on like school-based probation with kids in the schools. And like probation officers would be in the schools, so those kids would be kind of like would be somebody to kind of watch them and all that. So
Right.
the reoccurring thing is parents suck. Basically, parents suck. The dads are never freaking there, and they're
Right.
like losers. And when they do discipline their kids, it's such like a harsh thing. And it's such an uneducated. Yeah, and you see a lot of kids that are just alone and sad and just want attention and need and crave attention because they're not getting it. They never got it when they were children and they needed it during those really vital periods when they were young and those interactions when it was most important. So now they're teenagers turning into adults, getting even more clingy or whatever it is that's been neglected. So that's what I
Right.
so the answer to that, yeah, implement programs like that. But just being a male in that situation, just being a male, like walking into a room and like that's it. I didn't have to do anything. They're just kids are just like they just talk to you.
I have
It's
to note
weird.
that my brother also is a very big guy. He used to play football. He's a big
Not that
guy.
big.
Like, you think a little guy would make the same impact? Like,
Well,
if
I
you were
think it's.
like
I mean, I've seen it a
short,
lot. With my kid, like kids, parent. Like, there's no like father
you
figures.
just think a male, period. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter how
somebody
big
like
you are.
you could the the I mean, you just got a different kind of respect, whether that's right or wrong. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's what you got in the room. Like I went with a girl. She was a little older than me, and then we hired another woman who was older than both of us. She was like in her 40s at the time. I was like 20, like 22 maybe. Um, but yeah, like it's just yeah, a lot like some of it is cultural as far as what kids respond to and all that, like a male
Right.
authority, things like that. But I mean, it comes down to it. Kids they just want to be loved and shit, and that's all you see is kids. It's just have been neglected. And then what's happens? They turn into teenagers that get in trouble, and then they turn into adults that do the same thing to their kids.
Right. Right.
Eh, crappy parents suck. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because I've worked with a lot of kids like that are in um, after school programs
mhm.
and programs in school. And they've all been in like very, I don't know, what's the word for the neighborhoods that are work in like
Challenged,
challenged,
economically disadvantaged.
economically disadvantaged. There you
Yeah,
go, neighborhoods.
yeah.
And like where like literally like there's like the one just for example was like like literally, I think the train tracks were like they're right behind there,
Yeah.
and there's always like that thing like where train tracks are like the other side of the tracks. This one really was the other side of
Yeah,
the
we always
tracks
look
kind of a
by train
situation.
tracks.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was such a thing, but I've learned that really quite a lot, which is very interesting when you see that. But
Yeah.
um, I've noticed that the kids also respond very well, even to positive reinforcement. They're not accustomed to
Yeah.
stuff like that. They're scared. Like if you say no and you like they test you first of all, after they
Mhm.
test you and they're like, okay, you're still hanging around, then and you're not getting really mad at me, then what they do is like then they're trying to figure out like what's going on.
Yeah.
So I've just noticed though that positive reinforcement, just to go back, I guess, to what you said about positive reinforcement, it goes a long way. I mean, they're
Hmm.
craving positive reinforcement. They
Yeah.
already go home and get, spanked or slapped or whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
and it's or yelled at or reprimanded
Hmm.
constantly. I do make an effort, like, because I'm in school now, is I make an effort to really not do negative things and really kind of focus on like the positive things and the
Hmm.
fact that they have a choice. Like I'm like, well, was that the best choice that you could have made? Like, because they're like, I'm bad. Because at the end of the class, I will say, do you deserve a treat or whatever? And they're like, no, I was bad. And I'm like, no, you aren't a bad person. This
Yeah.
is not you being bad. This is you making choices that are not very healthy or whatever you want to fill in the blank there with the kind of choices. What would be a better choice that you could make next time? And I found that when the kids do that, they also feel empowered, because I think as a kid, especially when you're in that kind of situation, you
Hmm.
tend to feel very like, I mean, a lot of these kids don't have, like you said, father figures, and a lot of them are very you know they're just exposed to a lot of things that,
Yeah.
in my opinion, kids should never have to be exposed to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like the positive reinforcement makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. Yeah. I mean, listen, if anything, you're trying to change somebody's behavior. If you ever
Hmm.
watch The Office, when Jim goes in there and he keeps saying keeps doing something with Dwight, and he just keeps giving him like a piece of candy each time. It's so funny. But if you're trying to change somebody's, yeah, when the kids are younger, I would actively do it because I'm like, okay, the kids didn't clean the room up that great. I'm like, what if I try this? And then,
Right.
what do we do? I used to do when, like, if they didn't say thank you or something. If they said like thank you or something, you'd like, I don't know. We used to do the poopy on the potty party when they pooped. Like, oh, you dance around and stuff. But it's stupid stuff. But it makes. I mean, think about it. If you tell somebody that good job on washing the dishes. I appreciate that. Then you're going to be more inclined to do it again. So you just think about it that way.
Well, I mean,
But
my
no,
kids, it's true, because the kids come back into my room and ask to clean my room. Like they
well,
ask to do it because they know that they're going to get something like positive. And
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, no, I'm going home. But sometimes I'll be like, yeah, you can help me. And
Mhm.
they vacuum, they wipe the tables down, they do all this stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
gee,
Yeah. I don't know.
like that to me says like that says a lot. Like the kids with their positive thing. So I mean, maybe I should do a dance for them. Like all the kids could dance around, be like, "Hey, let's do a vacuum dance."
I mean, it's true, man. I mean, listen, it's the most to me. I mean, study wise, it's the most effective form of the way to change people's behavior. So that's yeah. Rather than smacking your kid,
Yeah,
maybe try something that's more effective. Might be a little bit
yeah,
harder, but it makes more well-rounded, psychologically healthy kids, and that's backed
yeah.
by science and studies. So, um, anyways, yeah. What's our next subject here?
Oh, yeah.
Which
Next
is,
subject.
man, I what is the next
The
subject?
battery.
Oh,
So,
okay. I mean, I just watched a little bit of that video, so and I had heard about it before, but you go tell me what you know.
okay, so as we mentioned before, my brother likes to tell me things and sends me texts. He doesn't call very often. Like he's a texter. And then when he calls, then we talk forever and we have a great time. But like he sends me a lot of texts, but they're like these little tiny texts, so I have to infer whatever he's
Mm.
saying. So he told me about this battery, and it was let me see, wait, the battery. What was it called? The
Baghdad battery.
Baghdad battery,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says that when a German archaeologist, his name was Wilhelm
Well,
Koni
just give them
something.
initials.
Anyway, this dude,
Give
when
them
he
initials.
examined it in 1938, this was 1938,
Mhm.
he thought that it was exactly the anatomy, right, of a basic galvanic GALVANIC cell. Like, so it really, this thing really works. So the jar contains two dissimilar metals, a copper and an iron rod. And it says, crucially, the iron rod is suspended inside the copper tube, but kept separated by an asphalt plug. The asphalt is a highly effective electrical insulator. And it says like that this is super important, evidently, because it it like generates power. It really does. It says that let's see, blah 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 blah. So this dude like says they could have filled them with grape juice and success. Oh, he filled them with grape juice. Like
Yeah.
he built exact replicas
Hmm.
and built them with grape juice, and they successfully. Now this is crazy, right? Successfully.
Can you try to make a Baghdad battery? Yeah.
You know what? That's a great question. It
I
might be
mean, you
possible.
personally. I want you to try to make that.
You know what?
I would.
I learned.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna try
Continue.
it.
Continue,
I'm
because
gonna try it. Like, why not? Because he successfully produced 1.5 to 2 volts of electricity.
Okay.
That's crazy. Then it says in 2005, Mythbusters, you know that
Yeah.
movie or that
Hmm.
show, whatnot is it? The team built replicas using lemon juice as an
Hmm.
electrolyte. And when they linked 10 of the jars together in a series, they generated 4 volts.
Yeah.
Okay, this was enough power to successfully electroplate a small token and even a deliverable notice. What do you call it? Noticeable electric
Yeah.
shock.
So, what do you think they were
That's
using it for
crazy.
then? But yeah, what were they using it for then? You think?
What did who use it for?
Yeah. What were they
Well,
using it
they
for?
said if people are like some people are like, well, maybe they really didn't do this like as a battery. They said they might have been using it as like pain relief,
Yeah.
like electrotherapy, right? It
Yeah.
says it's documented that historical fact that ancient civilizations like the Greeks used mild shocks from electric eels and torpedo fish.
I did see
Crazy,
that.
right? To treat
Yeah.
elements like gout and headaches, which I like never knew this. It says the 1 to 2 volt battery, 1 to 2 volts produced by the Baghdad battery would have delivered a noticeable like tingle, like
Yeah.
right? And it would have been perfect for this kind of a situation. Could have also been something like religious kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, there's all kinds of things that it could have been, but I believe it was really truly a battery of some sort. I think like our culture, our history is a lot more historical than what we see in our history books.
Well, they only
And
found. I saw they only found one of them though that had a rod in it, but they found other
yeah, but
rods.
one is
Right. But I'm
Andrew.
saying, what was it
One
for?
is some.
I saw it could have been used for like electroplating or something for like metal,
Yeah,
maybe something like that. No, I don't know because like I said, I don't know.
when I looked it up, there wasn't like a consensus that the people were sure of what it was. So I don't know.
Well,
Jury's still out, man.
do
Jury's
you
still
think
out
it
with that.
really was though? I mean, think about it. I think that
My
our
best guess is that it was something like medically almost like it's something that give you like a
like
little buzz,
medicinal, you say?
like yeah, for like because if it gave you like a buzz for like a headache or something like that. Because if you think I don't know. I just read about it for like a minute, and now the podcast I sent you was it was 45 minutes, but my ride was only 20 minutes. So that
Yeah,
was the problem.
there you go. Only 20 minutes of the
Yeah,
thing.
sometimes I start those and I only get through not too much of it. But
Well,
no, it's no, it is neat. It is neat regardless because it's like what the hell is it? If it's not any of those things, what is it? Because
yeah.
the thing is, there's some stuff that we are totally wrong about, and like if another culture, they'd be like, "What?"
Hmm.
So
So I mean, so do you believe though like I mean, I truly believe like Michael Jackson says like the history books are wrong. Like they rewrote like history so that we would believe whatever. I'm not like this
Michael
conspiracy person, but
Michael Jackson,
Michael Jackson says this.
what
Like
the hell?
literally, he says the history books were wrong. Like Michael
Yeah, first of
Jackson, I
all,
think was onto a lot of
you're
things. So I
saying
mean, I'm
present
just putting it
tense.
out there. I think Michael
Okay,
Jackson had more to
are
do
you
with
bringing up
like I
Michael
think he
Jackson
was
as a
actually
reference?
murdered.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
You caught me with a left there with Michael Jackson. I'm sorry. You just dropped Michael Jackson in like that was like a reputable and then you're using
he
present. You
is
know
a
that he
reputable
passed away,
source.
right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
beat it.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. To what they say to the well they the victors or the to the spoils go the victors.
Yeah.
The yeah, we write the history books weren't written by the people who were destroyed. But
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things though, Andrew. Think about it. Even in our history, like we're just learning things that have happened in historically, and I don't think there's anything wrong with, acknowledging certain things in history. And I think it's very interesting when you think about all of these things that have happened in history
yeah,
and you're just like, oh my gosh, like it's not what it seems. I really
no,
truly think that. Like the pyramids, I truly believe were not like, I didn't believe, I thought this was a monarchy. And mind you, I am from Pennsylvania, so I'm allowed to use that word. Um, and I think that whenever
what is malarkey?
you didn't hear about the Joe Biden thing, he used to use it just all the time. The malarkey.
No, I'm saying what are you referring to about the pyramids being malarkey?
Oh, so malarkey. So malarkey is because like the Egyptians built them. I really don't think the Egyptians built them. I think that it was a civilization prior to them. Because there's too much information, like they don't correspond with the other things that are like the other structures that are built in
Yeah,
the same way. Like the Sphinx guy is
yeah,
like it just doesn't make any sense. And when you actually, it's interesting because I used to take things like, okay, I read it. It doesn't make really a lot of sense, but hey, I learned it in school, and that's what we had to memorize for our test. And I always thought these things were like correct. I was like a very like book kind of person. Like, okay, it's correct. I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but okay, if this is what they say, it has to be correct. It's in a book. Because I think we were taught as kids, my generation at least, was taught don't ask questions, and it is what the teacher says it is. And now as an adult, I'm just really questioning a lot of the things that I grew up learning and thinking like not, I don't know, like 35% to 50%, who knows, is like not really
you gotta look at the
100%
source.
true.
That's it. You gotta look at the source. That's what you're looking at. The
Michael
source.
Jackson.
Michael Jackson's not a reputable source.
Why,
Only a
why
good.
not?
I'm
He
saying you
had
gotta
a
look
lot
at
of
the
money,
source from
Andrew.
both
He had access
sides.
to a lot of
I'm
things.
not talking about Michael Jackson anymore. He's out. He's
Like,
gone. No,
oh, Jesus.
you got to look at like both sides of stuff. Like what? Yeah.
So, like, have you noticed that though, as far as like what do you think? I mean, I use the example of the pyramids, but like, what do you think might not be exactly real history, like the way we
Well,
learned it, kind of thing?
the Columbus thing. Why do we have
Okay.
Columbus Day? That is crazy to me. Why are people still mad about it? Let's talk about that because I'm like, Columbus, by all regards, now we have the knowledge. We all know that it wasn't a good thing here. So, like, if you read about stuff that he did, he was pretty bad and he didn't
Yeah.
discover America. So, why are we still have Columbus Day? What? Why do we still have it? Who's supporting it? If you're supporting, comment below. Do you support Columbus Day? And if you do, why? Why the F do you support it? Have Indigenous People Day, man. Like, what the hell? Why do we have? Why would we have that guy? Why would we have his name on the day still, man?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
run for president just so I could change the name of that.
So,
If I
are you
was
announcing
president,
your
listen. If
candidacy?
I was president, okay, we'd be
He's
we'd be.
announcing his candidacy for what, 2000 and what year would it
I
be?
might have,
28?
I might have to, man. If the people need me to do it, I might have to do it.
I think it's a good idea, Andrew. Why not? Like, get some backing, and there you go.
Oh man.
Comment below.
All right. So let me see. Let me look at my. Uh, what else you got over there?
Oh, so here I went back to the Giants. Get this.
Oh
So
no.
I watched my brother like got me interested in the whole giant thing, right? So I was watching these things, and what they were saying was that um, the articles of giants, like at first in the newspapers they were there, and then they have like lowered, and that now there's no articles, right? Which is very interesting because they've been found all over the world. This is not just one thing. Like they have been found all over the world. And there's things like supposedly these people find them, and then like the Smithsonian grabs the bones, and then it all of a sudden they disappear. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And then they said, now I don't know if this is true or not, just throwing this out there. If anybody knows, please do tell. But they said that in was it Iraq, I believe, there was a giant, and our army or some armed forces of ours were they ended up fighting this dude who was a giant, and then they took him down, and he was in a cave, right? And he came out, and they took him down. And then, like, everybody was like, oh, we got this giant, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they were like hushed up. Like it was a really strange thing. So have you heard that, Andrew? Like I don't
Mm,
know if you have or not.
I gotta have evidence, man. I'm sorry. That's what the conclusion I reached with the
But have
Giants.
you
I gotta
heard
have
that
evidence.
about the giant in Iraq?
I mean, no, I'm not saying there's not giants as far as like gigantism. The
There's a
military.
video. In Japan there's a video too. There's a
Oh,
video of a giant walking through, and he's walking through in a parade.
how big of a giant are you talking about here?
This
See,
dude is big. He's very big. It's a video of this guy, and this was an old video, like before AI and all this stuff.
yeah, um, I mean, no, there's giants. They have skeletons and stuff, but they don't. I mean, I'm saying from like a giant like civilization, there's no skeletons or proof of that. There's no solid proof of it. Is my thing.
Pennsylvania, lots of
Well,
proof
it's
in
not.
Pennsylvania, Andrew.
There's newspaper stories. Yeah, there's things documented, but that doesn't mean that there's like yeah, it's not enough for me to. Mm, there
That's
wasn't
not
enough.
enough.
Man. What?
See, Andrew, here's the other thing that's weird. Okay, think about this. Why, in all of our history book, I mean, in all of our fairy tales, everything, there's always giants. There are
Well,
always giants. Every
well,
single time. There's
I'm
giants in this, giants
well,
in that.
okay,
Why?
yeah, yeah, but I'm saying I don't see any proof of it. Is what I'm saying. I gotta see the
But
proof before I move on. That's where I'm at.
folklore has to come from truth somewhere.
Yeah, some of it maybe. Yeah. No, there's a lot of recordings of giants and all that. Yeah, the director of whatever the museum in Pittsburgh documented that whole giant in the up in that up in whatever McKeesport or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of incentive to kind of um, do
Hush.
do the newspapers. No, I mean the newspaper stuff because it sold newspapers. They called it like yellow journalism. It was like tabloidish. So if you found like, and people would find like animal femurs and stuff and think that they were giants and stuff. But no, I don't know. Let me find me some evidence. I don't know.
Get the kids digging up the yard. You're in Pennsylvania, Andrew. That's your maybe in grandma's backyard you'll find some giants.
Maybe I don't think so, man. I mean, if there was giants, they had been a pretty damn long time ago.
Well,
There's no
yeah,
proof
they
of it.
that
I mean, there's no giant. There's no skeleton that's like 7 feet or I mean, well, I don't know what the biggest skeleton I think is 8'11". Robert Wadlow, I believe, is Guinness Book of World's Record tallest man. FYI.
but you don't think that there is like see, I think that everything comes like it's like aliens. I think that aliens are like real because there has to be something. Like people just don't make up these things like out of nowhere. I believe that somebody saw something and then another person saw something. And why are they all like very similar when they describe them? Even though these people have never met. Like is that everybody
Well,
has the same imagination? What everybody's like doing LSD or something?
I don't know. There's actually there's on DMT, which is hallucinogen, which they've been doing studies on with that. There is they are trying to actually map that world out, that dimension, that when you're on, it used to be only like 5 or 15 20 minutes or something, but now they're doing prolonged studies. They can keep them in that state. um yeah, it's really, really, really neat. But they are trying to map it out because there's similar entities that people are communicating with, that somebody else comes in and they're like, oh, that was like what I saw too.
Yeah.
So like mechanized grasshoppers, shit like that, like
Hmm.
fairies, like mechanical fairies, things like that. And they're telling people, they're like, "Welcome back." They're like, "Where you been?" And then the people are like, "Oh, this was so full of love," and they were kind of like mischievous, but they were kind of like joking, and they're kind of like, "Why are you here?" And they're like, "It's." But there's like a consistency to there's a consistency enough to it that makes you pause, that think that's like, what's going on here? It's
Yeah.
weird. So, but the fact that they're trying to map out, and I mean, if you think about it, it's a different world. It's like a video game is a different world, right? Like when you're playing a
Yeah.
video game, that's you're in that world on your TV screen. So is this that much different? It's more.
But
It's
it's in your
more.
head. But
Yeah, it's more
like
reality because it is in your head.
but like I guess my question is if that is on a video game, everybody's doing their own video game. Like somebody made the video game and everybody's doing it. So somebody has control over the video game. However, on a in like what is that acid or whatever they're taking? What are they taking when they're
You
seeing
talking
this?
about DMT?
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm talking
So
about DMT. Yeah.
yeah, the same thing. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
The thing I'm talking about, where they're
Yeah,
mapping entities, yeah, where there's consistently like seeing, but that is, I'm not including DMT in the hallucinogenics as far as like, because I haven't studied that all that much,
oh,
but
because
I
like,
think
don't you
there's,
think that's weird though? Like that everybody sees the same thing almost. I mean, and they
well,
describe it the same.
Yeah, it is. It is weird, but I think the lasting effect is the aftermath of it, the afterglow of it, and the people what people are saying afterwards, and that's a lot of that is what brought me to like if you're looking at the happiest people in life, that's what brought me to that conclusion was not people getting off drugs, but just people reaching the conclusion of what makes you happy and what's really actually important in life, and people that have died and come back to life those people
Right.
that's they're appreciating the important stuff. Here's a story. There was a lady who had brain aneurysm. She had her brain completely emptied of blood. She was
Right.
clinically brain dead. So she got out of surgery and she said, "Oh, I watched you do the surgery." And the guy's like, the surgeon's like, "What? We had your eyes taped shut. Like, what? How could you have watched that?" She's like, "Oh, I listened." And she sat there and told him about his tools that he was using and the music he was listening to.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he's like, "What?" He's like, "You were clinically dead." So what's the explanation for that? That's a really well documented case. What's the explanation? She was clinically dead, but she was watching from above. So tell me, how does science explain that one?
I don't know. That's why I think this is so interesting. Like do when we die, like do we is it just like you said earlier, like that our bodies just produce this um drug and take us back to where we came from? Like are we actually part of that realm?
I mean, I think so. Yeah, I think it's a big, yeah, I think it's a big circle. I think this part of it is just kind of some of it. Like I don't know what happens afterwards, but that's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out someday.
This is true.
But no, I take comfort in it because it used to be something I was always fearful for because of like organized religion and stuff. But now I think it's fascinating and it's neat, and I reached that conclusion by just kind of researching and seeing what people were saying about stuff after these conclusions of like traumatic events and everything and like what's really important and what actually matters and things because the bullshit in your life doesn't a lot of
Right.
times. So
I think that's true. I think basically thing like Michael says, he's like just got to do your best, make people like not make people happy, but you're here to make the world a better place. Like
yeah,
he was talking, his example was he was saying, of course, he's a great dad and a great husband and everything, but he was saying that his thing, like when he looked around, because he used to be part of the Ann Arbor group, I believe it was called, whatever,
hmm,
I think that was called. But anyway, it was a tree group. Like they planted trees in
yeah,
their little county or town or
yeah.
whatever.
But
And
parenthesis, by the way, I would trying to get Mike to run for mayor. Continue.
you're trying to get Mike to what?
I would love Mike to run for mayor. Continue.
Oh my gosh, he would be awesome. Yeah.
Keep on the
So
track.
that's a sidetrack. But anyway, he's a really great guy. He's my brother, my other brother. I have three. But anyway, he was like saying, I looked around and I realized that the world's a better place because I was part of this like this part of this
Yeah.
group that planted trees. Not only did you plant a tree, like because now they planted them quite a few years ago, so now they're actually like getting
Hmm.
big. And he said not only did he plant like the tree is there, so the tangible thing is there and you can see it, but it's
Yeah.
also the air quality is better now, like just
Yeah.
the aesthetics, everything is better, all because somebody took the time to plant a tree. And I think like that is fantastic, and the fact that I'm related to the dude that planted a tree, um, I think is really great though. I think that that's really what life's about. How many trees have you planted?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, one of my goals in life is to buy large pieces of land and plant trees. I bought a house Me and Mikey bought a house, and to basically flip, and right before we bought it, and then COVID hit. So we were kind
Mhm.
of fortunate because I was able to work at the house, but um, the guys that we could have a whole episode on that because there was.
Oh my god. Is that the
I am
haunted
not. I am
house?
not. I am not a person that's like. I'm not really religious. I'm not really like believe in spirits and stuff. But that house was weird, and it was like it was in ancient Native American common hunting ground, and it so like I talked to the guy that owned the kid that owned the house, came and talked to me about it. Okay, did I ever tell you about this? Okay, I'm gonna just
Yeah.
do a quick
You
review.
told me you told me something about it. You said it was haunted and you were scared to go there.
He
Like, and
can't.
my brother doesn't get scared about anything.
This kid came and he was like, he came up to me and he was like, we own this house. So we did, he told me all the stuff he did with it. Cause when we bought the house, it was really dirty. There was stuff that was new, but it was really dirty. So it was really, really disgusting. But he said that they got rid of it. One of the reasons they got rid of it because there was weird stuff going on, and the thing that broke the camel's back was his dad was outside and he felt something grab him by the hand, and I'm like, okay, like whatever, I'm like, all right. But the thing is, at that he said how much did you buy this for? He said whatever you bought this for. He's like, I'll pay you what you bought it for, so you don't lose any money. And I was like, why? And he said him and his dad have a company and that they just buy properties and like a brickyard, old brickyard or whatever, and they just clean it up and like plant trees and shit.
That's
And I
so
was like,
great.
I'm like, what would you do with this? And he's like, honestly, he's like, I would tear this house down and just give it back to the nature and just plant trees. And I'm like, that I
That's
would
so
love to do that.
wonderful.
Yeah. So that house, like I said, I'm not a big haunted house person or anything, but I was terribly, that was the most uncomfortable house I've ever been. I mean, I've been in like thousands and thousands of houses, and that's probably like one of the most, it's just so weird.
But what was
It
so
was
weird
weird.
about it?
It was just
Like
weird. I
weird is
mean,
weird. What was weird? Give us
every person I talked to said there was something weird about it. They said that the lady before me went crazy, and they said that at 5 in the morning, all the lights in the house would be on. Because the one guy said he would like jog, and he said all the lights on in the house would be on all the time. There was a kid. There was like a younger kid there. I talked to my plumber who said that he had been there, and he said he went there on a call with his son who was younger, and he actually left and didn't do the work because it was so dirty. He didn't want his son in the house.
Yeah, but dirty doesn't mean it's creepy. Like dirt is like
I
a lot of
mean,
people are
think about
dirty.
how many houses has a plumber seen that are dirty?
Yeah, but does that make it creepy? Like, I mean, it's dirty. I
Uh,
don't.
I
I
don't
need
think
more
you're
facts than
understanding.
that, Andrew.
Are you understanding like years of like grime? Like you could see the insect like trails on the baseboard and stuff. I
Believe
went
me,
in
I'm
there.
not.
I went in there. I filled up a 5-gallon buckets of like bleach and water and just threw it on the toilet and just got all the roaches and stuff out. Everything. Just washed it completely out.
Did
You
you
know
wear
what?
like a hazmat suit?
I'm gonna tell you this. I was freaked out enough about it that I bought some sage and I saged the house. I saged the house. I went in there and I said aloud, and I am not like this at all. I went around each room and I was like, what? I was like, whatever the hell this is. I was like, I'm not here to do anything. I was like, I'm just getting in and out. I was like, that's it. I was like, I'm not. That kid told me that when we went there, when he came over, he said that he went to a Native American reservation when he was out west and talked to people about what spirit this was that was out here, and it's a spirit that basically just like governs the area. So it kind of is like not really good or not really bad. It's kind of like more in
Right.
the middle, but it can be, whatever. But it just is like a policeman almost. But it's like if you're disrupting that, I don't think it like that or
Oh.
something. But his dad was working on the roof and freaking fell off. Had to be life flighted.
Oh my gosh.
I almost
This
felt.
is the guy. Wait, this is the guy that buys the properties and makes
Yeah,
them
he's the
trees.
yeah his dad.
So
Yeah,
did he change his life after that?
changed his life.
Yeah, because it would. You said this was the guy that buys the houses and makes them trees.
What do you mean? Did he change his life?
Like if he fell off the roof and he had to be
Oh,
life flighted, like
I
did
don't
he
know what
change
his
his
dad
life
did.
after
I
that?
don't know. They sold the house shortly after that, though, because because he was telling me. He said he was like, yeah. He's like, when you're standing there, you can feel like this cold draft. So I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I felt that before. I think it's like the temperature fluctuation in the basement and stuff. So there's just weird stuff. There's, if you want, we could talk about the pig lady.
Pig lady?
So in like the 1830s, down the road, there was a woman who lived in there with her family, and in a farmhouse that's still there down the road. It's like it's about like 1 minute up the road from the house. But her family left. They came back. They couldn't find her. They looked everywhere for her, and they found her finally stuffed under her porch without her head. Somebody
Oh my
cut her head
gosh.
off. They never found her head. So then, like, the local folklore was you could like go and see the we called her the Silver Lady because in high school this was like a thing. We would go on this road with like girls and stuff and like be like, this is scary. So once you went down like a couple hills, you would see like a shadow and everything. So it's their swampland and all that down there. So there is shadows, and I could see how that'd be. You could definitely see that. But people start saying that she couldn't find her head, so she put a pig head on her. So they start calling her the Pig Lady. I never call her that because I think it's mean. I just call her the Silver Lady. I do. I think
Well,
it's so mean.
did you see the pig lady?
No, I mean no. No. They have a festival and everything for it in Darlington. Yeah, it's a big like during Halloween and stuff. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. I'm like somebody still died and got their head cut off. That's weird, guys. But
That's
they're
very
the house still's there. The house is still there. They have it at the house, like in a barn at the house, I think. But I'm
so.
saying
This
that
isn't the same house that you bought,
no,
like
no,
that you
no, no,
sold. This
no.
is down the street from the house that you
Yeah,
bought. So
yeah.
do you
But
think the
there's
same spirit did this?
I don't know. I'm not saying a spirit did it or anything, but I'm saying that there was during the Industrial Revolution across the street, they bulldozed everything, and that there was artifacts there, and they just demol. There was burial grounds, and the guy that the owner he had all like personal, all like these like Native American things he had them like in his house like as a museum, and then people would come and go like look at him and stuff, but there was just no regard or respect for it. So whatever you believe about whatever, yeah, I wouldn't be all that happy if somebody was treating my land like that. I would be like, what the hell. I would probably want to haunt some people, I guess, maybe. Mm.
So is this lady still? Did you ever encounter this lady, like when you were taking girls there or whatnot?
No,
Or did any of your friends ever encounter her?
no, we would go over there. It was more just the whatever, just go mess around. But the one time, what was it? Mm, Cheyenne, I asked Cheyenne to go down, my daughter, to go down the basement and turn off the lights. So she went down the basement and went to go turn the lights off in the dehumidifier or something, and she heard this sound. It was like, whoo! And she was just like, she's like, oh, Dad's trying to scare me. And then she looked up to the window and she heard the lawnmower start, and it was me. I was outside starting the lawnmower. So she booked it upstairs. She books it upstairs. So then like 10 minutes later we get in the car and she's just like silent. And I'm just like, yeah, you okay? She's like, yep. And then like a couple minutes later like, she starts talking about it, and she's like this is just really, and she's like me. She's pretty cynical. She's like, yeah, that's not real or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not, but I do know. Well, because he's like, yeah, we think about like renting that house. I was like, no, I want to sell it. And he's like, what? I was like, I don't want to keep that house at all. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, I'm 100% sure. I was like, I do not want that house at all. I don't want it.
That's crazy.
I had nightmares when we got rid of that house. I had legit nightmares. Like really, it was so weird. It was
What were
weird.
they about? Like the house or
It was
just
like
like
an
you?
evil. It was like an evil thing. Like was trying. Oh my god! It was just so bad. I had them for like a week,
Oh
and
my
it was like
gosh.
I felt just like evil presence. Just like I don't know. I wrote them down. Like if you read them, you'd be like, "What the hell is this?" Like I should read them sometime because they're
We
really,
should do
really.
the next one. You could read these
Oh,
things. We
you'd
should do
be
one
like,
on them.
yeah, I might get put in the loony bin because they're like, but they were. Okay, I'll tell you one. I woke up and I was ready to punch somebody in the face. Well, I almost
You're
punched my
ready to
partner.
punch
I
somebody in the
almost I
face.
almost punched somebody in the face because I was going through um, turmoil. It
Like
was
in your
terrible.
dream.
Yeah, you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah, like this doesn't make any. So wait, this was after you sold the place.
This is like after I was done there, I would have these weird dreams, and it would always be like this evilness to like whatever it is. So, okay, I'll just shorten the thing. Blah blah blah. I was in the woods. I was with Cheyenne. She started running. I started running in the woods. I came upon like a overturned smaller dumpster. Okay, I walk into the dumpster and I see. I don't know where Cheyenne's at. I can hear her running through the woods. So go in the dumpster and it's like it looks like a regular dumpster and it's like dirty, but it has like a little window. And I'm like, what the heck? So I walk over to the window, I look out, and it's like everything's like really dirty. And then I see her running, and I'm like, oh, okay, she's good. And then I turn around, and this little fucking man in a suit. He's about like 5 feet tall, and he's just like perfectly like dressed and clean and everything, and he's just standing there. And in my dream, like your emotions go from like you're 100% fine to 100% like what the heck.
Yeah.
So I started like backing up. Like, oh my God, I can't even talk about this. It's
Like,
traumatizing. I started backing up and he started like matching my steps. And like as I was backing up, I started turning like younger. So I fell back onto my back and like it was like kind of like leaning like at an incline. And it was like a fall day. So I fell like in the leaves and everything. So the guy like gets like kind of like straddles me and gets like the leaves and shoves them in my mouth. And so then I'm 9 years old and this guy's shoving leaves in my mouth and I'm screaming, knowing I can't wake up. And
did
my
you know
part,
you were asleep slash you were there? I
I
mean,
was, I mean, I don't know. No, I know I didn't because my partner, I was doing something and she went to wake me up and I like woke up and I was just like, and she like cowered and she was like, no, because I was ready. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
It was terrible. It was bad. I had just so many other ones, and it was just like, I was just like, what the hell? I was like, what is it? So whatever it is, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know, but I'm saying what I. There used to be the guy said that there used to be like woolly mammoths and stuff back then because that was like rain. It was more like really like maybe more rainforests maybe that time
In
ish.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, a long time ago, obviously.
Long
But
time.
yeah, that was my it just was weird. The whole experience was a weird thing. But everybody up there was strange. It's right by the game lands too, and it's right by the Ohio border. It's right by the game lands, and there's like a little graveyard over there. So
Are
it's
they
just
are they Indians in the graveyard or that's just a random graveyard to
I don't
anybody?
know. I don't know what's in that one. I forget. It might be
Mom and dad's plot is there?
probably. Probably is. All right. All
All
right.
right. Well, I think we'll end it here, but thank you so much. And I love you, Andrew. I
All
will
right.
see you soon. And we'll figure out some fun things to talk about. Say goodbye,
All right.
Andrew.
Goodbye, guys. It's been real.
Bye bye.
How do you hang this up here?
I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Stop. Uh-oh. Did it stop? Okay. Wait a second. How do